it, but now it turns out that there are some people who stole it from the people who stole it. So how does that feel, huh? All right, so I think there are some of the Italian LBGs that would like us to sing a song. Please come to the center, and I guess we will as well.
Don't go too close to him. I don't know if it's on. How about this? You don't care. And then I go to last team and GPA charger is like fun. And Denise, there were
And then the next block of presentations is going to be the health indicators and the RAI project. And I would start with the health indicators and invite membership team to the middle. Membership department. This is a good moment to have another small rule. So 1, 2, 3 is of course a monoclap, you know it, 1, 2, 3. But if the speaker makes a mistake, then you can also do 3, 2, 1. And then you slap your face. So 3, 2, 1, it's membership department.
Microphone and clicker. Microphone and clicker. It's here, it's here. It was here and I found it.
Thank you. Okay, hello. I'm Maxime from Membership Department, and we will present to you today the health indicators. So, first of all, I'll show you what I will be talking about, the what and the why, the how about the health indicators, what will be in the future of the health indicators, and then there will be a question round. Okay, so first off, why health indicators? So Vitka, our coordinator of this project, had a really nice idea to ask some questions in the plenary, and if you feel an affiliation with what I say, then you just raise your hand. So if this happened to you before, just raise your hand, and we'll see how many people have had these thoughts. So the first question is, you have had a problem in your LBG, but it's a quite vague problem, and you don't really know what it is. And you had some problems locating it. Do you feel like this is something that happened before to you, or to your LBG? Raise your hand if that's the case. Okay, quite some people. Then, in your LBG, there's something you do not like, and you want to make a positive change, but you don't exactly know how to do it. Is that something that happened to you? Raise your hands. Yes? Okay. And then another case, not about your LBG, but about other LBGs. So there's a membership case. Someone is proposed for suspension, or from baby to full, or something like this. And you feel like there's not enough objective information about this LBG, and you feel like you cannot make a good decision on the information you have. Is that something that happened? Okay, very nice. So then we go on. I will put this here. Yes, so why do we want these health indicators? It is a simple tool to objectively evaluate LBG's areas of work. Okay, so the history of these health indicators. There was already a list made with some health indicators, so let's say version 1.0 on IPF Moscow. And then in November 2016, we started on the health indicators 2.0. And it was a membership department project, and you can see the team members on this list. Okay, there are some of them here. And then the how. So this part is more practical. We already have a list, health indicators 2.0 right now, and they're public, they are on the private area. And you can find them under the tab Knowledge, then Documents, and Membership Team Public Archive. And there you can find a PDF with all the health indicators we have. So now I will give the word to Raksmi.
Okay, so now, you know where is the health indicator. We're gonna present you a bit more into details. What is it? So the first of all, it's all the different category we have. So it's, I'm sure, the kind of categories you already know. So there are FR, PR, HR, also events, or relation with your university. And then, yeah, there's 10 of them, and we're gonna go more into details now. Oops, sorry. Okay, so now you open one of the category and you see that kind of tab. You can see a lot of different category indicators, sorry, and they are divided on 4 different category level. So 4, 3, 2, and 1, and different colors. So for the color red, it's something mandatory. It's written on our regulation that we have to do it. It's our responsibility to follow them. Then afterwards, there's the orange one. So they are the highly recommended one. So if you don't follow some of them, it means that your LBG is kind of in trouble. So you should have it in mind. Afterwards, they are the level 2, so it's the green. They are recommended, so you have to see what's going on in there and trying to go more into details and trying to improve them. And finally, the level 1, it's some tips, some ideas to improve your LBG. Up. So, after checking all the different indicators, you take an overview of your LBG, and you see. You put some minus and some pluses in the tab, and you see. If if most of them are like minuses, it's not really a good thing. So you should keep it in mind, and then you have different ways to improve. So for example, here it's a PR. So you can, for example, send your members to train shop like Be Known. You can also ask your array or membership department to make you in contact with some LBGs who know how to do good PR. Sorry. You also can subscribe to local PR ads, for example, to discuss with other LBGs how to improve yourself. And finally, you can, of course, contact membership department to ask for some help. So you can ask membership department to put you in contact for the proper body, like for example, PRD. Or you can also ask for a doctor. And what if you're going well? So congratulations, it's a good thing. The thing is, like, as you're doing good thing in some categories, for example, you can help best the other LBGs to improve themselves. So you can contact membership department or your regional advisor to say, hey, I'm good in fundraising, so maybe I can help other LBGs. Then, after knowing how it's used, what's the future? So the thing that we would like to do is to make health indicators something usual, like filling the LBG reports. The same as LBG report, we would like to make it private because it's useless to make everyone know that we are super weak or something, because there's no way for it. However, if you are good in some point, it's also cool for the other LBGs to know what is it, that you're good in PR or FR, and then people can contact you for help. And of course, having a health indicator makes you, health indicator can be used for membership selection tool to make you take the best decision as possible for the voting. And so afterwards, what can be changed? So as now we have good selection tool for, we have good tool to see what's going on with the LBGs. It's a good point for us to improve ourselves, to develop, because we know our good point and our weak point. And of course, when you know which LBG is good and which LBG is bad, you can ask for other, and then, of course, sharing is caring. Yep. If you have any question, you can approach our team at Health Indicators and also membership department, and you also can ask some question here. Thank you.
Thank you, membership department. 1, 2, 3. Are there any questions? Okay. Please use your sign. Yes. So first question from LBG Budapest. Can we get a microphone?
Balázs from Budapest, and my question is, what do you think? What could be the connection between these health indicators and the proposal for this recognition letter from university? Because I feel like a slight, they want to achieve the same thing in some other way.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are talking just about the tool itself. About regulation, it's going to be the next presentation.
We have a question from LBG Athens, and the next microphone to Brno.
Hello, Lucia, LBJ Athens. So it wasn't really clear for me. Right now I understand this is really just a recommendation for LBGs to fill it in to know where they are. But is it possible that in the future it will be something mandatory in order to monitor how LBGs are doing?
If I understand you, the question is it going to be mandatory at some point?
Yeah. So like if you get a bad result in the health indicators, you might, Florian will do something.
Okay. The basic idea in the beginning was to find a better way of judging the sustainability of LBGs. And instead of just looking at if they can organize a course well, looking at the overall picture. However, this project itself was not about regulating stuff, but in a workshop together with the RAI project, there was some talking about it and we discussed it, but for now it's just guidelines. But in the next presentation there will be more information about the possibilities of it being included in the regulation on admission and exclusion. Is that okay?
Okay, we have 2 fingers from the board, but it seems cut. Okay, then we will proceed to the question from Bruno.
Hello, this is Samo from Brno. First of all, I would like to say that I'm a big fan of this whole project. I personally wanted to get involved in it, but I couldn't participate because of time reasons, so big up for you. And my question is, as far as I understand, this whole effort, the end goal of this whole effort should be that the health indicators might eventually become the tool for the membership of LBGs, right? So what is the next things that are going to happen in this regard? What is the plan, maybe, or what next has to happen in order for that to be reality? Thank you.
Okay, so I will have to give you the same answer as before. The next presentation will be about that, right, Florian? Yeah, so if you wait a bit, then in 5 minutes you'll get your answer normally, okay? Are there more questions?
Okay, we had one question from LBG Tallinn.
Mari from LBG Tallinn. I'd like to ask what happens after, like when we know we have a problem.
So, for now, if we only look at this project and not at the regulations project, you can contact, for example, the department that overlaps with your problems. Let's say you are in the category PR and you see that you have some problems. You can contact the PR department, for example, and you tell them like, oh, we are facing problems with this and this. Can you help me? Or for now, it's a tool to pinpoint where your problems areas are and to see what you can do to change that. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Are there any more questions? Or I remind you that you can also state your opinion or make a statement. Going once. Going twice. Sold. So, as you see, we are okay, it's picture rush, okay. We are constantly raising the standards and services of our, or standards of our services, and this is a good thing, but we should not be forgetting how to monitor the internal structure of the organization. And to the extent that health indicators can do that, it could be a very good step for BEST. Thank you very much for the presentation. You can already guess what the next presentation is going to be because it was referenced a few times. The next presentation will be from Florian regarding the RAI projects, so the Regulations on Admission and Exclusion project. Florian, take it away.
Thank you. It's working? Okay. I would like to ask everyone from the RAI project team to come into the middle. I don't know if Ines is here, because apparently she's the only one. So yeah, quite a few of you had some questions about their possible future implementation into RAI, and that's also something that I will talk about now. Okay, so first, just a clarification in case you're not all aware. RAE stands for Regulations on Admission and Exclusion. It's one of our official documents, a rather important one because it basically regulates all the rules for how new members are admitted to our organization, and basically they kind of show how the membership system of BEST works. So this year we had one goal in our annual action plan. That was about that the status of local BEST groups is the main criterion in defining the membership status. And based on this goal, we created the RAE project. So the main reason for this was that we saw that there was quite a lot of focus in general on the organization of external events in regards to LBG's membership status. And quite often it was actually pretty much correlated 100% with simply the organization of a successful events to our external stakeholders. However, being a BEST member is more than just organizing successful events for our stakeholders. And we were of the opinion that the sustainability and how our LBGs are run should also be one of these criteria. In addition, there were also quite a few other things that we wanted to review in RAE in general, so that's why the project was created from the beginning. So, to sum it up quite shortly, this project had two main purposes. The first one was to review some inconsistencies, and the second one was to find a way how to possibly implement the health indicators into RAE. So in late November, a call was sent out for a team, and in the beginning of December we had selected it. It was coordinated by the board, or more or less by me, and we had members from quite a few LBGs. You can see them here. We worked quite a lot inside the team regarding these inconsistencies. Whenever we needed more input, we tried to gather input on different mailing lists. We had our own RAE@ mailing list where interested LBG members could subscribe. And we also had several threads on different department mailing lists in order to gather their input as well. We also had the discussion group on WinterIPF about, in general, full member responsibilities of LBGs. And in the beginning of March, we had the RAE and Health Indicators workshop in Zagreb, where members from both the Health Indicators team and the RAE project team came together to work on the health indicators and their possible implementation into RAE. So regarding the first part of the project, regarding the inconsistencies, we have 9 proposals during this GA about them, and we will talk about them more in the upcoming days. In general, we also talked about quite a few other things. One thing that we were discussing was about regulating mentors for LBGs. So, for example, right now, if an LBG does not organize a course in 4 seasons, they would go under monitoring. However, we were thinking that maybe it would make more sense to give them a mentor in order to actually help them to organize their next course successfully. This was also discussed, and input was gathered from the Vivaldi department, and the outcome was that we could not really assure that we could provide enough mentors for all the LBGs that would need it. So in the end, the conclusion was not to add it to the regulations. However, it's still highly recommended for LBGs that are failing in their courses to actually ask for a mentor. And the second thing that we also discussed was about renaming monitoring. So monitoring has had quite a lot of stigma around it in the previous years. Quite a lot of LBGs expressed dissatisfaction with the name. We were also discussing this. At some point, an idea came up of maybe even deregulating monitoring. However, we did not have time to properly assess all the risks and threats regarding this before GA, so this will be done in the upcoming months, and because of that, we also did not really have a proper outcome for if we should rename them or not, because if they're deregulated, we don't need a name anymore. So regarding the second part about their inclusion in RAE, so in general, we believe that sustainability matters, and now we actually have, for the first time, a tool which we can actually use to objectively check the sustainability of LBGs. Of course, that also leads to 2 big questions, like how can we actually objectively assess it? Like how can we take the indicators and say like, okay, this is sustainable, this is not? And how can we actually verify that what we came up with works? So in beginning of March, we had the RAE and Health Indicators workshop in Zagreb, where we kind of developed a system for how to interpret the health indicators and how the system would work. And we also tested the system against data from 70 LBGs. I don't know if some of you remember, but in, I think it was February, January, February, there was a survey sent out to LBGs where we asked input in general on the health indicators, and where they also had the opportunity actually to state if their LBG were doing these things. So that's actually where we got our data from. It does not correspond 100% to the data that we have, to the health indicators that we have today, but it was more than 90%. And in general, we believe that the data and the data analysis we did based on these things is very accurate still. And so when we were testing it, we tried to come up with different combinations of these health indicators and try to assess, like, okay, this LBG does not fulfill these 10 indicators. Do we consider them unsustainable, for example? And we also took a look at the actual data from the LBGs and tried to assess if we would consider it unsustainable or not. And the outcome, or like the basic outline that we got from all of this testing and so on, was that an LBG that fails to fulfill at least 70% of the so-called highly recommended health indicators basically show a very, very strong sign of unsustainability. So in general, the plan, if we implement this in the future, would be that LBGs that are deemed unsustainable based on these health indicators would be proposed for suspension. And how it would work in practice is that you would have this tool, they mentioned it before, on PA or in a spreadsheet, wherever, where LBGs would try kind of continuously fill in their health indicators. After all, they are the ones that know them best themselves, how they're doing. And there would be a special deadline, more or less, actually 2 months before every general meeting, where the LBGs wouldn't have to make sure that all of their data is correct. Then it would be the responsibility of the membership department to actually check and verify that this is correct, with the help of arrays, because they usually are the best ones to know. And in case there are any controversies, in case there are any disagreements, it would still be the membership department that would kind of have the final say, because otherwise you could, as an LBG, basically lie, and you would never have any consequences. Can we go to the next one? Oh, shit. Okay, so in general, the timeline for all of this, we did not manage to have everything ready for GA, even though we tested the system and we believe that it is quite refined by now. So in general, for now, it would be open for everyone to try it out on their LBGs. You can see how you're doing, where you can improve. And on PM 2017, there would be a proposal to implement the health indicators into RAE. And starting from GA 2018, there will be possibly the first new membership proposals. Yeah, this also gives quite some time for LBGs to actually check them out, to maybe refine them a bit. And in case you disagree, you can still have the chance to say so. And that's basically it. For now, please keep your questions for the RAE project in general, the health indicators part, and so on, and not about the actual proposals that are happening on GA. Thank you.
Thank you, RAE project. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so any questions? And as this is a work in progress, I believe also your opinions are very appreciated. And the first question is from LBG Cluj-Napoca. And then a microphone to Izmir, please.
Hello, I'm Horea from Cluj-Napoca. So you said that LBGs will fill themselves the data in the health indicator. How would you prove that the information they fill in there it's true? Like, I can fill anything I want. I say like perfect everything. Like, how can you check it efficiently?
Yes, you could never prove everything with 100% certainty, because in the end, it's the LBGs themselves that know the best how they're doing. As an outsider, you can never know 100% about everything. So for that, you would have RAs that are usually in close contact with the LBGs. And it's only if they really like identify something that is wrong, that something like they would intervene and we would check it and so on. But yeah, with a system like this, there's no possibility of having an outsider doing all of the checking. It's impossible.
2 fingers from Cluj-Napoca.
Timi from Cluj-Napoca. So, do you think if you will propose LBGs for suspension, they will be objectives in filling in the health indicators?
Yes, for sure. There would.
Okay.
Okay. We also have a two-finger from LBG Brno, just over here.
Hello, Samo LBG Brno. Regarding the issue that the LBGs might lie in the data that they provide, I have a proposal. Maybe there could be like a penalty if an LBG is found out to lie in the health indicators. They would be penalized later on in the next round, maybe like minus 10 points. That could motivate them to not lie.
Thank you for your question. We actually already discussed this kind of, so there are some conflicting opinions. In general, you could also say that it's very hard to determine when they lie, and sometimes it's can be a bit abusing of power if you claim they're lying and so on. So it's something definitely to discuss more. It is a possibility, but however, I don't really have a good answer right now how it would actually look like regarding that.
Okay, thank you for your questions and comments. Izmir and Timișoara have cut. Sorry, we still have a two fingers from RA delegate. Sorry, can you stand up, please? No.
Thank you, guys. Bonnie, RA delegate. I just want to remind you that this is a tool for assessing your own sustainability, and according to the values of our association, I think that it doesn't make sense to lie on these things. This will determine if your LBG will be sustainable or not, and you're going to be helped according to that. Okay.
Okay, thank you. We have another two fingers from Cluj-Napoca.
Timi from Cluj-Napoca. I totally agree, and this is what we should all do, but if we will be propose for suspension, I don't think that this will encourage us to do so. So I would maybe go for helping LBGs to do better on what they need, but not for proposing them for suspension. Because yeah, it's super cool, and it's very nice to know where we do where we don't have very strong points. But I think this should be about helping each other, not about suspend an LBG if they do worst.
We had another two fingers from Extra Gabor, just behind.
Extra Gabor, quick statement, suspension is not a punishment.
Okay. Thank you for the statement. However, I do notice a high amount of two fingers, and it is sort of on the same topic, but if you are making statements that are separable, please make a one finger. It makes it a lot easier to structure the discussion. And membership team has cut its two fingers. That means we go to the next one finger, which is LBG St. Petersburg.
Martin, LBG St. Petersburg. So you said that a lot of LBGs fulfill this form. So could you share how many of them had less than 70% of this?
Yes, thank you for your question. I actually forgot to mention this in the presentation. So from 70 LBGs, there were only 4 LBGs that actually fell below this limit. And I generally believe that if they would actually have time, half a year, to work on these issues, they wouldn't have any problems of actually going above this limit.
Okay, thank you. Then next question is from LBG Belgrade. So I'm not sure. Yes, Budapest will be afterwards.
Hello, Augie from LBG Belgrade. I was curious about the timeline, because you said the special deadline will be 2 months before GA, right? And how long would it take to actually analyze all the health indicators, all the reports, and then give the give it back to the LBG in terms of suspension? Because if it's a proposal to be suspended, shouldn't that be like 2 months prior to GA?
Okay, thanks for your question. In general, RAs and so on in the membership department are more or less, if the health indicators are filled continuously, they're more or less aware of how well LBGs are doing generally. So you don't actually need to check all the LBG's health indicators, because if you already know that an LBG is doing completely fine already 3-4 months in advance, you don't necessarily need to check everything. So you could focus your effort on the ones like the edge cases, more or less, with the RAs. And having 1 month from this deadline to the deadline for proposals should be more than enough to actually accomplish this.
Okay, then we will have a question from LBG Budapest. In between, I just want to remind the rest of the plenary, if you feel that the discussion is getting too much into details, or in general you do not feel that it's relevant to continue, you can always make that known with the 3 fingers. Now, LBG Budapest.
Balázs from Budapest, and first of all, I would like to state that I think it's a very good approach to have these health indicators regulated in this area, because I think it would make the membership proposals much more objective, fair, and also professional. So, and that's why I would like to repeat my question from these health indicators, because I find it fits more here. That this recognition proposal for the recognition letter would a little bit, I feel like they are aiming for the same thing as health indicators would aim, but with health indicators would do it with multiple measures which you could consider at the same time. What do you think about the relation with health indicators, implementing health indicators in RAE, and the relation with recognition letter proposal?
Okay, thanks for your question. In general, the thing about the university recognition, that proposal is more about giving us a system for how we can actually check this, because right now there is no real way. And yeah, so in that way they are actually completely distinct. I don't see that much of a correlation between them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from, we have 2 fingers from Budapest first. And then there will be a 1 finger from NSAM.
I have to say I don't really agree with you in this, because in the proposal for the recognition letter it says that it would be a proposal for suspension exclusion. I'm not entirely sure in this, but it would be the same action if you reach only some points below, or some least amount of points in health indicators. So the action would be the same. So that's why I don't really see why you are saying that there are no relation between them.
Okay. In general, the university recognition, it's already regulated in our statutes even. So it's something that every LPG should already fulfill. And now with the health indicators, we're trying to add a new thing about the general sustainability of LPGs. So in one case, we're adding something new. And the other thing, we're actually just trying to find a way how we can check this one thing that is already regulated.
We have a question from NSAM in the back in the middle, and then the next question will be from LBG Uppsala. Next question to Uppsala, please.
Simon from LBG NSAM. So the point is to make the sustainability of the LBGs the main criterion to judge of their membership status. What is going to happen when the health indicators get implemented? If, for example, an LBG fails to organize a best course or the final of EBEC for more than 8 seasons, but the membership department judges that LBG to be sustainable enough, which criteria is going to be over the other for the decision?
Thank you for your question, Simon. In general, that's actually up to LBGs, because as in all of the cases, it's always just proposals for suspension. So it's still up to the LBGs to decide. So there are probably not going to be any changes to the 4/8 season rule. In general, there are, you can say, different reasons for why you would like, or why you would propose someone for suspension. One can be that they're not sustainable, and the other one can be that they have harm the image of BEST. So you have this system in place, so you have these proposals, but then it's still up to all the LBGs to actually decide if they think that the LBG should be suspended or not. And since we now have the health indicators, they can also, okay, actually I will talk about it tomorrow, but you will actually be able to see the health indicators of the LBGs with membership cases in order to make a better and informed decision in those things.
Okay, the next question will be from LBG Uppsala.
Fergus from LBG Uppsala. At the moment, the health indicators are basically a self-assessment checklist for LBGs. Do you think that in the future maybe we could switch to a system where the human factor is very limited? For instance, I can give an example. You can check on PA how many accounts are created between two GMs, and this is something that the LBGs don't have to fill themselves. It's automatically calculated by the data that we have on PA. Don't you think that that would be more reliable and could remove the bias that the LBG have? Because basically at the moment we're asking them to propose themselves for suspension.
Thank you for your question. In general, you definitely have a point. There are several things that you can probably import from PA or from other sources. However, a lot of these health indicators can't really be judged by anything you have entered into a portal or anything like this. Or like this data does not really exist unless the LBGs actually give it to us. So for sure it can be used for a few of the health indicators, but far from all of them.
Okay, thank you, LBG Uppsala. We have been discussing on this topic for a bit more than 20 minutes now, and I see that there's a lot of interest, which is good. Though, since this is not yet related to any proposal, I would also like to ask the first rows of all LBGs if you would like to continue with this topic. So, if you would like to continue and keep asking more questions, raise your thumb up. If you have heard enough and you would like to move on, please put your thumbs down. Okay, I see a pretty large majority of thumbs down, which means we will hold the session here. Also, just to remind the people that did thumbs down, you could have done 3 fingers as well before, and we would have come to the same conclusion. Okay, thank you, Florian, and the RAI project. I think having a well-oiled regulation system is important, as well as having good warning lights, and regardless of whether this is the precise good system yet, it's good to see your engagement, and I'm sure they would like your input. Thank you very much. For the next question, we're going to go to a topic close to my heart, which is external relations. And for that, I would like to invite the ambassador, or both ambassadors of BEST actually, that's new, to the middle.
Clicker. Oh, perfecto.
Oh, we got
so, hello everyone. At the beginning we'll play some game. So, please raise your hands if, before this GA, you didn't even know that something like ambassador exists. Be honest. Yeah? Okay. So that's why we are here to introduce the external relations of BEST to you. This is Gustavo Fonseca from LBG Porto. He's the ambassador of BEST.
And for the first time in BEST history, we can say that this is Aleksandra Radwanska, also the ambassador of BEST.
Yeah, so we would like to present to you our annual action report. You also have it in your binders, but please do not look it up now, because we created our presentation in a bit more user-friendly way. So what is external relations and what actually we do? So we create and maintain the relationships with external organizations.
We also provide both the LBGs and the international bodies of BEST with the knowledge and the tools to benefit from all the external relations that we have.
And who does it? It's done by the president and the 2 ambassadors. So yeah, if you could join us to the mattress, it would be really awesome. This is us, just to remind you how we look like and how, what are our names. But we would also like to invite to the middle our lovely partners, which is NASEC, Bonding,
CFES, and IG.
Perfect. So what we do? First of all, we represent BEST in our partners' events. So this year, we had the chance to go to IG event, Bonding event, Esteem event, and CFES event. We also, as BEST, are a member of umbrella organizations. How to translate it? So LBGs are the members of BEST, and BEST is the member of a little bit bigger organizations that are operating in whole Europe. The first one is European Youth Forum, which is an organization gathering over 100 organizations throughout the whole Europe. And the second one is?
The International Forum for, no, the Informal Forum for International Students Organizations, which we attended to this year. It was represented by me, on the second one by me, and Fergus is there. So in this informal forum, we gather more than 20 organizations where we discuss ideas and we create new cooperations.
We also represent BEST in our maybe potential partners. So this year, there was a chance to go to ELSA General Assembly.
We also went to EBEC, which I just came out of.
And what do we do again? We also receive guests and make sure that they feel very comfortable and are prepared for our events. This year it was also full of very fruitful cooperation. So at the beginning, in December, I had the chance to coordinate with one person from Bonding, joint job fair coordinators meeting, meaning 16 members of both BEST and Bonding gather in one place to share the best practices and learn about FR in a job fair. Then we also had a joint grant application. With the help of grants department, we submitted a very nice grant application in order to improve the digital competences throughout the workshop in in all of these 3 organizations.
We also got another joint grant that was with ESN and several other partners. In this grant, we are trying to break the barriers for all students to access the trainings, and that's why the name, Training for All.
And this year, we are organizing a huge event, 20th anniversary of cooperation with Bonding. So the event is coordinated by 2 sides, BEST and Bonding. And it's also very important to underline that 2 girls, Daria from LBG Kiev and Lime from LBG Riga, are the members of the organizers team, together with one of the ambassadors, me.
We have the coalition, that's a proposal here, which is the Coalition for International Engineering Students Organizations, which involves BEST, Bonding, CFES, and NASEC. It will be explained a lot about it during this General Assembly. Just know that it will create a lot of benefits the idea is to create a lot of benefits for all these organizations so we can cooperate more and reach a lot more in all the world.
Then we also facilitate the exchange of members. What has happened this year? Besties took part in something like a train shop on how to organize courses. This is Summer University's project school, coordinated in AEG. And I think that the feedback was very positive. Then around 20 besties took part as co-organizers in job fair organized by Bonding. We also received around 40 members of different organizations in our regional meetings that all of you had the possibility to meet and get to know about their organizations more. And we also had more than 270 applicants for our courses. 40 of them attended or are going to attend the courses as co-organizers and participants?
As about the internal work of the external relations team, so what have we been doing? Well, we have completed the external communication guidelines. With this, all the organization will be able to access this document and be able to communicate properly to the external side. We also have developed a bunch of wikis. We're still working on the external relations wiki, which has a lot of outdated parts. We're going to finish it this year. Ambassador Private Wiki should work as a knowledge management tool for helping the next ambassadors being able to know what happened and what they can do in the future. As for the application process for our NGO members, here we're trying to improve this application process by creating by creating forms so these organizations can access our events more easily, get information more coherently. And also, we have the University Relations Wiki, which it was also updated. This will help every LBG be able to learn a lot more and access all the information that we in BEST International have gathered for you to help with your university relations. We also try to help with your local external relations. We have the local ER ads. Here you can discuss and get a lot of ideas for your LBGs, but we also try to get in contact with all of you so we can get you to involve yourselves a lot more and do a lot more external relations, which can help you grow and gather a lot more ideas for your local groups. So how to keep in touch? We have open calls that we send for the external offers ads. Here you can subscribe freely. Then we have external relations ads, which you have to send us an email to, so to ambassador ads, and we can add you to this mailing list, and here you are discussing the external relations of BEST. Or just contact us anytime you have any doubts or anything you want to know. You are free to just send us an email to ambassador ads.
So you might think that since the BEST year is somehow coming to an end, we are changing the board. Our work is also coming to an end. You cannot be more mistaken, because there is a lot of work ahead of us still until the change of mandate. And please remember always that there is also a place for you to join the external relations of BEST. Thank you for your attention, and we are waiting for your questions.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions or things you want to say to the ER squad of BEST? We have one finger from EBEC Brno.
Hello, someone from EBEC Brno. So, as I know, the members of the other organizations can attend our BEST courses as co-organizers or regular participants. I want to ask if there is a similar opportunity for us to go to similar events such as courses in the other organizations, and if there is an opportunity, how we can seek those opportunities. Thank you.
Regarding bonding, we have the possibility to join their very nice job fair, which is a very good offer. And the thing with, because AIJA also organizes something similar to the courses, whether besties will be able to apply to co-organizers as co-organizers is still being discussed. It was not a practice before, but maybe it will change.
I'll add also, STEAM also has a lot of open events which anyone can apply to, and we strongly encourage also for the application to those events.
Thank you, EBEC Brno. The next question is a bit further from EBEC Copenhagen.
Hi, Jacob, Copenhagen, capital city of Denmark. Question of mine is, you mentioned that there are some more organizations that we kind of starting a cooperation with. I'm not able to name them. But so question of mine is, what do we aim to achieve with those? How do we want to, because there are organizations which are our official partner now, those are not. Do we want them to be, or what's the idea here?
So about creating another organization, you're probably talking about CISO? Or
like EBEC and...
About attending those organizations. So we are attending some other organization events, as you saw, like ELSA and EBEC. ELSA we were already partners of, but we discontinued in 2015. We never really lost contact. We just discontinued because we didn't think it was worth having an official partnership, as our interests weren't really aligned. So we just currently, okay. Do you have anything? So in the continuing, like ELSA, okay, sorry. When we discontinued, we still remained in contact with it. So we're still getting a lot of knowledge from ELSA, as well as from EBEC, as we started the contact 2 years ago also. We try to remain in this contact, which we are trying to get to improve a lot more and a lot more. Now, about ELSA, we're not thinking about doing an official partnership, but I can tell you that with EBEC, we are.
Copenhagen, do you still want your 2 fingers? Okay. Ola?
If I could add, the fact that we are totally different organization does not mean that we cannot cooperate, because usually European organizations have similar needs. So for instance, we are totally different than ESN, but we are applying for a joint grant to foster both training systems of both organizations, because both training systems are super strong, super well developed, but there is still room for improvement and for learning from each other. So from the organizations that are totally different from us, it's this exchange of best practices in these areas of the internal work of the organization that is somehow similar.
Okay, thank you, Copenhagen. We have one question from Abji Khanya, and then a microphone carrier to St. Petersburg.
Thank you. This is from Hanya. As you already mentioned, this is the first year we have like actually 2 ambassadors. What actually happened? What did something change and you thought like there's a need for 2 ambassadors?
So imagine this, we have a bunch of events, external events that we're invited to. Unfortunately, we cannot attend them all. And apart from that, we also have a bunch of internal work that we also have to develop. If you have an ambassador just traveling all the time and also having to do all this internal work by himself and the president, which is already very busy, so you can see that there's a lot of things that we can still do on the external relations area. And even so, even being 2 ambassadors, I can tell you that we weren't able to attend all the events that we wanted to. So yes, definitely it was very beneficial and we're up for it.
Yeah, to give you an overview, at the beginning we started with having, like, the number of our partners has been increasing. So with this, also the demand of work has increased. And for one person, it wouldn't be able to do.
We had a 2-finger from Abhijit Timisoara first.
Vali from Timisoara. I wanted to ask how this 2 ambassador system has been working out, and if maybe in the next mandate we will see 3, 4, or even more ambassadors.
It was awesome. No, if I could say, 2 ambassadors is a very good number for now. We still haven't ended our mandate, so maybe in this following 2 months something will pop up, so we will need more work, but we do not know it for now. I think that Gustavo will also agree, we will be advising to keep the number of 2 ambassadors for at least 2 years to evaluate, because this model has really shown a very huge improvement to the previous years.
Okay, and then the next question is to LBG St. Petersburg.
Hello, Martin, St. Petersburg. So my question will be about CSO. So on this GA, we will vote for this proposal. So what about other organizations with whom we want to do it? So did they already voted to do it with us, or what their opinion for this?
Adrian wants to answer this.
Yeah. It would maybe make more sense to have the question during the CSO proposal. I don't know. But
Okay. We still have questions on the list from Delft, Athens, Erlangen, Kiev, Uppsala, and Bucharest. As we're already a bit over time for this question round, as there's a lot of interest, I would propose to leave it here because we're also going to have some NGOs presenting, and I think some ER questions will also be answered there. So if you're okay with proceeding to the next session, put thumbs up. If you would like to continue, do thumbs down. Okay, I see most people want to move on with the schedule. So the LBGs that still had one fingers, of course, please approach one of the two ambassadors. Now, we are, I guess, going to keep the whole ER squad in the middle because the next presentation or presentations are from CFES and NASEC, and we will be starting with the CFES one.
Okay, so as you can see, we have our lovely friends from across the Atlantic Ocean. And now Zenon from CFES will introduce himself and his organization to you. So have fun.
So hi, a little daunting up here. So my name is Zenon, and I'm the current president of the CFES. What's this? Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so current president of the CFES, Canadian Federation of Engineering Students. So I figured I'd start by giving you, there we go, a little background on Canada, because I'm not sure how familiar everyone is, but I'm sure everyone has a couple stereotypes. So I found a map that pretty much summed up most of the ones I could think of. We got snow, moose, Toronto, hockey, maple syrup, so pretty much the usual ones there. So this map here is a little more accurate. If you look in the kind of center left there, that's where I'm from, Saskatoon. I study chemical engineering at the University of Saskatchewan there. Even I can't say it. So Canada is a big country, as you probably know, but we have actually a relatively small population of only about 35 million, so a little bit less than Poland. And 90% of those 35 million people live within 160 kilometers of the American border. So yes, Canada is mostly ice and forests. Recognize this guy? He looks better with his shirt off. This is our current Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. So CFES is spread across Canada. We have member societies at every university with an engineering program in Canada, so 51 member societies at 46 universities, representing about 81,000 engineering students. We break it down into 4 regions, so on the left, the western provinces, Ontario, Quebec, and then the Atlantic provinces. Again, that's Saskatoon in the kind of middle there. So kind of 2 big things that are issues for us as an organization that kind of limit our scope. So being a big country kind of limits how much we can travel inside. For example, from Victoria on the Pacific coast to St. John's on the Atlantic coast is longer than St. John's to Wroclaw. So it's pretty big sideways, and you have to fly everywhere. You can't drive. That would be a 3-day drive, so if not more. The other kind of big thing too is that Canada has English and French as our national languages. So the French is kind of mostly in Quebec with about 7 million native French speakers. And fun fact, Montreal in Quebec is actually the 2nd biggest French-speaking city in the world, behind Paris. So outside of that, in kind of English Canada, there's only about 10% of us who are bilingual. So we do struggle kind of with, most Canadians know one language, and it's probably English, and out of those English speakers, not a lot of them speak French. So CFES, we started about 50 years ago, and we're similar to BEST in the sense that we are a non-profit, non-government organization that unites students. Tried to find an exact date, but I think we started our partnership about maybe 10 years ago and formalized it at least 5 years ago, so fairly new. Just on that last point there, so we're a non-political organization, non-governmental. So for us, that means like that we're not going to endorse any politicians, we're not going to criticize any political parties or anything, and we're not going to advocate directly to the federal government. However, we do still take stances on issues that affect all the students in the country. And we bring those normally stances to our partners, NGOs kind of, and then work with them or work internally to fix the issues. So kind of three main things that we focus on. So skill development through our conferences and competitions, student representation, so kind of what I just talked on there, and then information sharing, because our members aren't really like LBGs, they're all fairly different. So the CFES allows them to kind of come together, share ideas, share knowledge, share best practices, and kind of just learn from each other. So it's our structure, kind of hard to see, but I just wanted to give you like an overview. So we're run by the members. For the most part, they direct most of what we do. And then the next kind of governing body is the board of directors. So myself, the president, 2 national counselors, so advisors, 4 regional ambassadors that are in charge of the kind of connecting with the regions and then like connecting them back to the CFES, and then 3 VPs. Under the VPs, we have the commissioners, so kind of similar to your commissions, except it's individual people. And this whole team there is our officer team, and that's all the people we hire in a year. So significantly smaller than BEST. Top pick there, that was our team 2 years ago in Halifax. And on the bottom, that was our team as of this year. Some of you may recognize Lori in the middle with the bright pink or bright yellow skirt. And that was our team last year at Kangaroo Farm in British Columbia, which is kind of fun. So kind of our core services, so we hold a Congress in January, which is very similar to GA, except we also have a leadership and kind of development conference that we add on to it. So we get all of our members come, and they normally bring up to 5 delegates, and most of those delegates will sit in sessions all day, and then the one kind of elected representatives will go into the plenary sessions. Canadian engineering competition we hold every year in March. So once again, similar to EBEC, but rather than 2 competition streams, we have 7. President's meeting, so that's similar to your president's meeting. Normally like one every member sends one person, then we get together, focus on more internal stuff. And then finally, the Conference on Diversity in Engineering, which is an initiative started a while back. It used to actually be in a national conference on women in engineering, but we changed the name. The idea is just to kind of work together as engineering students to try to make engineering more like better for specifically women and for minority groups who have a hard time sometimes getting involved in engineering and staying in engineering because it is a very white male-dominated field compared to others. So this is a picture from our CDE, Conference on Diversity Engineering, last November in Montreal. And at the podium is Julie Payette, who is a Canadian female astronaut that studied in McGill. And we also like to take group selfies at our meetings. So that's at President's meeting, which I'm actually wearing that same sweater today. So we're pretty fun. So I'm just going to skip over the goals here. If anybody has like specific questions on kind of the more specific kind of initiatives we do, you can come talk to me anytime during the week. I will focus on CISO though. It's got brought up a lot. It kind of started between BEST and CFES, motivated by an interest in having like an international engineering competition, but then since then it's become more developed, and we got bonding and NASEC involved too, because we saw using it a lot more to like collaborate in general and do other things with it too. So it's something we put a lot of work into and are definitely interested in. So then just to kind of look on some other big differences between BEST and CFES. So I think the biggest thing is like our membership base. So BEST is kind of like top down. So you guys have an organization, and then through that organization, all these LBGs came out of it, and you keep growing and expanding through making new LBGs. Whereas we're kind of like, we started from the bottom and now we're here, in the sense that like Canada already had like every undergraduate engineering school had like their own student society for like years, and it's like their big tradition and stuff. So they came together in like 1969, and that's when CFES became a thing. So kind of different. The presidents of their engineering student societies only really like care about themselves, kind of thing. Like they have an elected member on their team called the Vice President of External Affairs, and they're the ones that come and vote at CFES events. Other two kind of big things that I kind of touched on, so everything that we do has to be bilingual, all of our reports, all of our emails, our plenary session, so we have a plenary session like this, and everybody has to wear headsets, and we pay $10,000 for there to be live translation, so everybody can understand no matter what language somebody speaks. And then kind of the other thing, flying in Canada is expensive. You can't, for me to drive from Toronto to Saskatoon would be about 44 hours. So I'll take a 3-hour flight instead, and that return flight would cost about 350 euros. So it kind of limits like stuff like courses and stuff like a lot of internal meetings, so it makes it a bit tough. As far as similarities go, though, I think there are a lot of ways that we are similar as organizations. Both focus on uniting kind of students from a large and diverse geographic kind of area, and then kind of connecting them, allowing them to network and gain kind of teamwork experience too. So that's kind of two big things. And then this is one a little more of a fun fact. So Canadians are technically kind of European because about 2/3 to 3/4 of Canadians have some sort of European background. So for example, like my grandma and grandpa on my mom's side were from Hungary. And you can pretty much meet like most Canadians and they'll have some sort of similar situation where they have people that family in Europe or a couple generations back that are Europeans. So we're kind of similar as like people too. So just quickly, what's next? We really appreciate our relationship with BEST, and we want to continue to improve it. We recently added an international relations commissioner position to our team in this past Congress in January, and so she will deal with the relationship with BEST, with bonding, with NASEC, and then potentially with CISO. Academic advocacy is something that we do, kind of similar to your education involvement, but it's something that I think we do fairly well, so we're open to kind of helping you guys as you continue to do more with education involvement and maybe take stances on issues you all have as a group. Something we're interested in getting more information about from BEST is the alumni network, and so we're hoping we can kind of take some of that from you. And then finally, there's a question here, we are trying to set up a system that would bring BEST students into Canada, or that would allow them to come to Canada to kind of events that we have like sporadically all over the place. So that's it. Thank you for giving us time to speak in your plenary. We appreciate it, and we hope we can continue to build our relationship with you guys.
Thank you, Zenon. 1, 2, 3.
Any questions?
Yeah, we have about 5 minutes for questions, and I see one question from competition department. Can we have a mic? And then one question from LBG Bratislava.
Hi, Andrei Hosha from Competitions Department. You told us about 7 different streams that you organize on your competitions. Can you tell us the different kinds of the streams?
Yeah, so for EBEC, there's basically design and then case study. So we have, so instead of just one design, we have junior and senior design. So junior design more for like first year, second year engineers, and senior design for more third year, fourth year, fifth year engineers. So different levels of like difficulty. But senior engineering, or senior design would be the similar one to EBEC. And then we have consulting engineering, which is the same as case study. And then in addition to that, we have re-engineering, innovative design, communications, and debate. So a little more touching on like different kind of aspects.
Thank you, competitions department. Next question from Bratislava, and then from EDU ID.
All right, hi. So Branislav from Bratislava. I would like to ask, like, how would you rate the best awareness among the members of your organization? Do you promote it, and how do you promote it? The best awareness among the members of your organization.
Like the best awards?
Like, do members best?
Oh, awareness. Oh, the awareness of best in our organization?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure at this point, like, people are probably actually finding out more about BEST than they do about the CFES, because you guys can do more for them than we can. Like a lot of people, we're getting a lot more people applying to courses and stuff, and like it's mostly people that aren't involved at CFES. It's just, because for the CFES, you don't need to be involved at CFES to go to BEST, and most people aren't involved at CFES at all. So I would say like, fairly, like for being like across the ocean, like it's a fairly good awareness. People will seek you out and like want to do these things. So, and then the awareness is growing, and people are learning more and more as we develop our Facebook and our like communication streams, and as we're pushing out more stuff, we're trying to get reach to more just general students. So it's growing, I guess, would be the answer.
All right, thank you.
Then the question from Edu ID, and afterwards LBG Uppsala.
Dragana from EduID. You mentioned that you have an advocacy group and that you take stances on education. So my question refers to since when was that established? How does it work, and how is it working out for you as an organization?
So I guess it started probably at Congress in Calgary, I guess, or no, in Winnipeg. So probably about 3 years ago, we had especially schools from Quebec wanting us to be more like an advocacy group that takes stances on issues or whatever, and then deals with those issues. So that's when it started, it was about 3 years ago. And since then, we're now at the point where we have a VP Academic, which is a new position we've created, and we have an academic working group that kind of deals with the actual work. So far, like what we've done is we took a stance on, so one of our partners, Engineers Canada, has a stance of 30 by 30, so having 30% female registered engineers by 2030. So we took the stance, we want there to be 30% female engineering enrollment in engineering programs by 2030. So now we're like looking at ways to like how we can help that. Then we also are looking at a stance on sustainability, how we can, as an organization, take a stance on sustainability and like kind of fix our sustainability practices. So far, it's like all pretty new, but the framework and the base work is like all laid down. So we're hoping it's gonna like go really well. But we do have like, we work really, really closely with Engineers Canada, who they're a non-governmental organization that kind of oversees the regulators in Canada, and so they help us a lot with that. So,
thank you.
Okay. Next question, LBG Uppsala.
Fergus, LBG Uppsala. Thanks for being here and the interesting presentation. You might have noticed that we, from the presentations earlier this morning, that we have started to struggle to find hosts for our general meetings. It looked to me, from the presentation at least, that the magnitude of your assemblies are similar. How do you tackle the issue of finding hosts for these kind of events? And do you have any lesson learned for us?
Yeah, so we do it like, and I'm still not super familiar about how you guys do an event like this, but for CDE, for example, so we have all of our like CDE, CEC, and Congress are all in a hotel setting. And we don't get, like the organization CFES, and through CFES, therefore the members, don't actually pay for these. It's all done by sponsorship. So for CEC in McGill, it was, I think they get probably like 2/3 to 3/4 of the funding from corporate partners that the CDE organizing committee, which is just at McGill, will deal with, and they'll find all that money. And then the other thing too is that we pay to go to our events, so students have to pay, like to go to McGill this year was $150 for the weekend. So you do pay into it, and that goes towards accommodations, food, and like all the costs of it too. So it's probably about 1/3 and 1/3 delegates pay. So not members, but delegates who actually go would pay, and then 2/3 corporate sponsorship is how we normally fund everything. Does that answer? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Uppsala. Then we have one more question from the competitions department. Please stand up.
So Andrei Hosh again from competitions department. If we would like to know if you do control the quality of your events, like your competition and other events that you organize, and if you do so, who does that? Do you have the equivalent to a project, to an international project, invest to control it, or is it the regions?
So I guess it's like, that's kind of like so we have, the way we do our competitions is that each like engineering student society, so our members do their local rounds, and they do those all on their own sometime in normally October, November. And then so they know the streams they need to have, so they do those streams, and then moves up to the regional rounds, which are run by the regional organizations. Like each of our regions has their own organization that deals with their region and schools within their region. It's like almost like a scaled down version of the CFES. So they take care of the regional kind of rounds, and then CFES only looks at CEC. That's the only event we actually control directly. And so we have one of our VP services is directly in charge of that event. So they oversee the chair, it's called the chair for us, the main organizer is like a chair, so the chair of CEC is directly under the VP services.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that answer? Or?
Yeah.
Thank you, Competitions Department. I still have questions on the list from BG Lviv and from RA, but as we went or are going a bit over time in this block, I would ask if you're okay with asking them after the session as well.
Hello, Marta, LBG Lviv.
Are you okay with asking the question in private?
Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you. The cooperation with CFES and BEST already goes back to the year 2000, and BEST actually got the idea of competitions from, some would say stealing, others would say being inspired by CFES. So either way, something I think BEST should be very happy about. And it's not easy to represent an organization at a place you don't know, much less how many thousands of kilometers away. So thank you, Zenon, for coming here. And the next presentation will be from your neighbor country, kind of only neighbor country, actually. Blake from NASEC.
So our cross-Atlantic connections haven't stopped in Canada. We have also been in contact with NASEC. So today we bring you Blake, the president of NASEC.
Thank you, everyone. As he mentioned, I am Blake. Now you can see. So yes, I am the president of NASEC, and the reason we say NASEC is because it's much shorter than the counterpart, the National Association of Engineering Student Councils. It's a mouthful. So, sorry. Two things. I speak very fast, and sometimes I hold it far away. So let me know. Just start screaming at me, all right? So yes, NASEC, Blake Schweiner. I was elected the president about a month ago on April 1st. It was an April Fool's. They tried to play a joke on me. It was great. But I become the president on May 1st, so that we have fluidity in our transitions and everything like that. So, a little bit about me. I assume you guys know a little bit more about America based on just how much we're always in the news about random stuff that's always happening there. So about me, I'm from the north, which I'm actually not too far away from Zenon here. I'm from originally Wisconsin, so if you know what the Packers at all, I'm a diehard Packers fan. And then I go to school at the University of Minnesota, which is about 4.5 hours driving away, or a long time flying from here. But that being said, I love to travel, so I have been to every single state within the United States, so it's kind of a fun fact I always say back home. But not too much outside of the states. So I've been to like 7 countries total, so this is my 7th. Woo. So I'm trying to expand that a little bit more. Might walk to the Czech Republic in a little bit here, I don't know. Make it 8. But yeah, so I can travel a lot. Let's see here. So a little bit about NASEC. I know this is small, I apologize. I got the font sizing a little bit too late there. But our mission, I'll just kind of read it off here. The purpose of NASEC Incorporated is to serve engineering student councils by facilitating communication, investing in their leadership abilities, promoting engineering education, and serving as a collective voice for the engineering student community. So one thing in America, we love to broaden our statements as much as possible to make us sound important. So basically, I'll pick out some words here. Engineering student councils is a bit different than you guys operate here, but more similar to CFES. So we connect student councils from each of the universities that we represent, or that are represented within NASEC, that have already been standing. So we look and seek out universities that already have engineering councils so that we can then, it's kind of easier for us, I guess you could say. And I'll talk a little bit about how we're expanding that in a little bit here. But then we bring them together for communication. So we host conferences. We host a total of right now 7 conferences a year. So there's 1 conference per region, and there's 5 regions. There's the equivalent of your president's meeting, which we call the Engineering Leadership Summit, or ELS. It's our only abbreviation. And then the national conference. So regional conferences are hosted in the fall, along with ELS, and then the nationals is hosted in the spring, which is where I was just elected. And then we also bring them together for communication, collaboration, stuff like that outside of those conferences as well. So we host what we call webinars, which is basically online meetings that we host on like a web chat and have people come on and have random discussions on there as well. Serving as a collective voice, we're getting into that now. The way we determine our member councils is they have to be accredited by ABET. It's the Accreditation Bureau for the US, and I believe other places as well. But we're starting to get involved with them now. So they're a ginormous organization that has accreditations in about 400 universities throughout the US, and we're in 60 right now. So acquiring them as a contact is gonna help us get into more universities and advocate for students. And we'd be the only student organization as a partner of that. So that's kind of a big milestone for us that we're working on currently. So a little bit more about NASEC. It is 34 years old. And the reason why you see William up there is because he's also 34 years old. So it's kind of a fun fact there. I was gonna put Kim Jong-un, but I thought that'd be a little weird. He's also 34, fun fact, but whatever, we don't talk about that. As I mentioned, there are 5 regions. So there's the Western region. Midwest is where I come from. There's the Central region, which is below the Midwest. And then there's North Atlantic and Southeast. Now the distribution of schools within those regions is a bit skewed. For example, the Midwest has about a third of those. Oh gosh, I'm getting low on time. About a third of those. And then Southeast has about an eighth, so it's super tiny. So we have about 60 universities, like I said, 274,000 members. But much like our economy, there's a big skew between how much we actually reach. We reach about the top 1% to 2%. And then there's about the rest, 99%, that are affected by those 1% that we reach. And as I mentioned, they have to be accredited and all that stuff. There's 2 governing bodies. There's the executive leadership team, the ELT, and the board of directors, which are structured as so. So I just became the president and chairman. Before this, I served as the executive vice president, the EVP. Then there's 6 vice presidents and 5 regional ambassadors, 1 for each region. I served as the RA for the Midwest region. And prior to that, I served as the regional coordinator for the Midwest region. So I've served on every level of our executive leadership team, which is kind of cool to say, so that I know all about the organization from every sphere. And then on the right, it got a little skewed there. Sorry about that. It's supposed to be an hourglass, nice and pretty. But we are governed by our members. So much like you, we have a session like this called Voters Delegate Meeting. So we allow them to have a voice. Then the board of directors, and then the president and chairman bridges the gap between the board of directors and the executive leadership team. And there's the coordinators beneath them. So a little bit about what we did this past year. We also worked on branding. So I'm currently wearing our old sweatshirt. I know it's not really in our branding guide, but we changed it to look a bit more professional so that when we reach out to organizations and corporations, it looks pretty. We had a big 40, 50-page branding guide that we have to adhere by, and all the documents have to be changed over now. So that's a big thing I'll be working on this year. We also recruited 6 new schools, which is huge for us. It's a tenth of our schools got acquired this year. And we have a new thing called LINK, Launch Your New Council, which is how we can form councils at universities that don't already have them, increasing our spread as well. Hurrying up here. We also started competitions, which we kind of also stole from CFES and you guys. So stole, borrowed, inspired, all that stuff. So that way we can try and become part of this international coalition of CISO, which you guys will have and will hear more about. This started at the national conference last year. I led a little committee this year at the University of Minnesota, starting something small. And we're hoping to grow that in the next year, actually hoping to have a competition at the national conference next April in Arizona. So it'll be much warmer than here. But the future, I'd like to increase the outreach this next year. I want to get more schools involved as we continue this partnership with ABET, our accreditation bureau. I'd like to work with you guys a bit more. I know we're just starting this partnership right now. I don't know if I can officially call it that yet. But trying to continue what we can get from each other, and as well as the corporations, the corporate partnerships and nonprofit. And nonprofit, I mean reaching out to more universities. We have a system where they can help us out, and that's where we get all of our funding from, is corporate and nonprofit partners, much like what Zenon was talking about with his conferences. The branding, as I mentioned, I'd like to continue to get that to be more prevalent within our sphere, so changing this over to the new merchandise and stuff like that so we can get more money there as well, and obviously working on competitions so that we can start working with CISO and you guys and CFES and everyone a bit more, so. And that's it. It's pretty close. All right. I know there's a lot of questions, so.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. We have about 5 minutes for questions first. I see one from LBG Copenhagen. Stand up, please.
Hi, Jakub, Copenhagen, which, as you probably know, is the capital city of Denmark. Super awesome that you came. Could you please tell me a little bit more of what are actions you're doing? I mean, what services you provide? Because you told like about almost 300,000 members. As I understood, by members you mean all the people that you're reaching, while active members are just a small % of that. And so, like, what the active members do for the passive members?
Right. So what we do is we provide opportunities for the members of the university's like councils to get together. So in turn, by bringing those council members together, they bring that back to the universities and enact programs, events. There's something called EBEC in the US, so 1 week every year is dedicated specifically to engineering, and there's all events that are hosted on the campuses of the 60 universities to try and get students more aware about what's going on. So by helping out the leaders of the councils, we then help out the people on the campuses. So they bring all the information back based on their leadership, the events they come up with, the fundraising, sponsorships, all that stuff, and they bring that back to help out their universities in that way. Does that make sense? Sorry.
No, it's perfect. Just to clarify whether I understood you properly. So you're more like focused on providing those people environment where they can help themselves.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you, Copenhagen. Are there any more questions? We have one question from Delft.
Hi, I'm Shakti from Delft. From your presentation, I didn't get a clear idea of your organizational structure at the local university level. Like, do you have something like similar to the LBGs here, or you have something different?
It's actually much different. So we don't have anything like an LBG at a university. The councils that we serve are the LBGs at the universities. So they were already set up there. We reached out to them, and then they now belong to NASEC. It's kind of backwards from how you guys, but very similar to how CFES runs it. So they help out the universities by coming to NASEC and going back. Does that make sense? Awesome.
Okay, then we have one question from Extra Gabor.
Thank you, Extra Gabor. I would like to ask that, as you said about your services and about competitions, that may I ask that how experienced are you in competitions?
We are very inexperienced at competitions. And I'm saying that wholeheartedly, completely honestly. The idea was a brainchild of a year ago's national conference. We thought it'd be a cool idea to get into so we could join the CISO and get acclimated to that. So now we're starting up this program. As you'll hear, CISO is trying to get something in the future. We're trying to get up to speed in the years coming so that we can try and join you guys and offer some help to you guys in that sense. So we're spurring up the moment right now to try and get to the speed that we need to be at. So, inexperienced. Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you, Extra Gabor. You can pass the microphone to Extra Gianluca.
Hi, Extra Gianluca from Extra Gianluca. So, did you spoke about your conference where you share knowledge between your members? I mean, your members. How did you do this sharing? Like discussion, presentation, or that's all like that? Or do you have something else, like training system, for example?
So we have a couple of different rounds. So we focus on leadership development and personal council development. So the leadership is in terms of kind of what we did on official opening day. We have speakers come in, work with us, stuff like that, workshops. But then we also have what we call council chats. So we allow people from all different councils to sit in a round table just like this, and we focus on one theme. So for example, we'd have Engineering Week as a theme of that council chat, and ideas would bounce back and forth all over the place on how, if one council is struggling, they would ask a council, and it would just start the movement and get discussion going on how they can improve theirs. So we have everything from sponsorship to e-week to recruitment, retention, everything in these council chats. So there's about 20 of them per conference that we focus on. So
round table.
Thanks. Round table, yeah. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gianluca. And we have a two-finger from educational. Involvement Department. Run, please.
Hi, Hanya from Educational Involvement Department. I was just wondering, like, from these discussion groups that you do, what do you do with the outcomes of it?
Yeah, so not every member is able to attend each one because we have about 5 different tracks that happen at any given time. So these are taken in, we take all the minutes ourselves. So we have either members of the council hosting or members of NASEC ourselves. We compile them and it's sent out as like on a mailing list everywhere so that every person can see them. And then it's also sent to the universities that weren't able to attend because not everyone can. And that way you can spread the information that way as well. So.
Thank you, EduID. And the final question will be from LBG Barcelona.
Hi, I'm Laura from EBEC Barcelona. My question was regarding your courses or your events. Do you receive any recognition from your university as extra curricular activities or something like that?
Could you clarify that? I'm sorry.
For example, here in Europe, we have an educational system that gives you like X working hours means X credits or something like that, that you can exchange as some lessons in your university. Is this possible in USA?
Yeah, so not necessarily within NASEC. We are getting it where some universities will have NASEC itself as a student organization. That way they can get funding because there's ways to get funding all over the place in universities. But only by being in the council, in the student organization, you wouldn't get credits or anything like that. So it's more like a leadership development thing. You wouldn't necessarily get anything like that. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we often wonder how to make BEST stronger. Now, we're unlikely in the following years to triple our amount of LBGs or triple the amount of services that we do. But by making strategic partnerships and coalitions with strong organizations elsewhere, we can actually triple our impact in a much more efficient way. So thank you for the external relations team to make this happen. Thank you to NASEC and CFES for getting it all the way over here. And I hope that these partnerships last through the decades, just as they have already done. Thank you very much. All right, after this extensive external relation block, let's do a wake-up game. Oscar, I feel like dancing.
And dancing you shall, Mathieu. So everybody stand up. And come to the middle. Yeah. Guys, so stand up and come to the middle. So it's pretty straightforward. The ones who know just follow the things on screen. The one who don't, look around and do the same movements as you can see on the screen. So ready? Awesome.
Chop, chop, guys.
Bring microphone there. It's to RA in a second. RA. That's where. Bonnie, yeah.
Bonnie, yes.
In Polish? No, it's in Polish.
All right. Sit down, please. Little known fact, external relations makes you want to dance. So, as we're fresh and moving on to something else, I would like to welcome someone new into the plenary, I believe in the RA corner. Bonnie, if you're around. Yep.
I'm here, yeah.
Okay. Can you please state your name and your team?
I'm Bonnie. I'm regional advisor of Region 10, and I'm here on behalf of the parachutes.
And what is your favorite LBG?
Ooh, that's a tricky question. Maybe one of those LBGs from Region 12. I heard they are very good, right, Florian? By the way, Region 12, it's Florian's. He's the regional advisor of Region 12. So one of those.
Okay, and puppies or goats?
Goats.
Obviously. All right, now for the next presentation, we're going to have the R from EBEC Project 2017. And I thought it was R, turns out it's SAR, so 3, 2, 1. Please welcome Elias to the middle.
Okay, so my name is Elias, as Matthias said. I'm the coordinator for this year, but before we proceed with the presentation, I would like to invite here EBEC team, EBEC topic group members that might be in the plenary, media team, LBG Brno, Madrid Carlos III, and the competitions department people. I don't know if you're going to fit there. Don't care that much, though. Okay.
All right, chop, chop.
Yeah, it works. Okay. God damn it, so many people. All right. So this is a presentation about EBEC project and what we've done so far this year in terms of development. And that's the semi-annual action report about. So yeah, the EBEC development work can be split in two. It can be split into the work done collaborating to the AAP of BEST, to the annual action plan of BEST, and the mandate-specific goals that we set in kickoff meeting, EBEC kickoff meeting. So you can have the report, sorry, I forgot to mention it. It's report 18, so if you want to take a look at the binders, it's not really needed, but you will have all the information there. So we'll start first with the annual action plan of BEST related work. The first one, IP1, implementation of the matrix structure is finalized. We defined 2 actions for it. The first one is completed already and has defined the purpose and the role of EBEC team and the rest of the bodies involved in EBEC. And it was completed it was work on that in IPF Tallinn and SIM in Brno. And the other one is the other action is to define the workload distribution of EBEC project, and it's a little bit delayed. It should be completed by this GA, but we'll work on that in May, and we'll get rid of it in May, I guess. So IP2, best services are constantly evaluated. Basically, we're providing information and data from our evaluations to UNE project, so it's still in progress. IP2 also, impact of EBEC is increased, create framework guidelines, develop new topics. Topic group is already working on that, so it's on schedule, and the rest are quite delayed. Create a framework for local PR and local topic responsibles to communicate to each other and share. This will be tackled in June probably, and same happens with the measurable to this action to define measurable parameters to assess the impact changes, which is a big thing. The financial state of our services is improved. We already redefined and implemented a strategy for travel reimbursements, sorry about the slide, for participants of the final round. Therefore, we are bringing this proposal and investigate how other organizations are financially managing their competitions. We're working with ambassadors and president on that, so it's on schedule. And the last one related to the AP of BEST. The impact of BEST services is increased. We are working with thematic years project on that, so yeah, it's work in progress, basically. We also have some mandate-specific goals. I will go quite fast through them. We have 9, so you see the need. I don't know if probably the font is so small. It's too small for you guys. Okay, you can listen to me. The need of internal events of your project, which are basically kickoff meeting, SIM and happy ending meeting, is evaluated and potentially improved. We're a little bit delayed on that. CAM system of EBEC is improved. It's basically make a cooler archive on PA and stuff, so it's quite simple. EBEC guidelines are finalized and promoted. Actually, there's a lot of work already done from previous years on this, so we suppose that we can get rid of this by June, I think, so you'll be able to see them. And the involvement of LBGs in the whole project is improved, also a little bit delayed, so yeah, I don't think we will have this working before June, July. And the knowledge of local rounds, improve and store. We'll try to get some basic statistics from your local rounds of EBEC, so we can know better about EBEC project overall. Some other stuff, last 4. National and regional rounds, the situation of them is stabilized, especially for the ones that are weaker. The proposal of NRRs is counting for the 4A season rule, is brought to GA Wroclaw. Apparently we made it. And 2 more, the financial sustainability of the final round of EBEC is improved. We're working on that, but we cut part of it since we didn't have EBEC FAR. Now we have it, thanks to God, since December, so it's a little bit cut. And the last one, recognition of EBEC final task. Winners, like some new ways are explored. So basically means that these EBEC final winners don't just get a trophy or a recognition like, yeah, you're awesome. They get something else for their task. And regarding this last one, we will implement some new features on this edition in Brno. Okay, so this is pretty much all. I would like to thank some people, LBG Brno, for working for almost 1 year already, and in the EBEC final, and it's going to be awesome, I promise. I would also like to thank my LBG, Madrid Carlos III, for hosting kickoff meeting in November. I would like to thank Topic Group and Media Team, because they're already working on some really good shit. And every national and regional round core team members, coordinators, main organizers of local EBECs, everyone who feels the EBEC vibe, thank you so much. If you want to join EBEC and see these beautiful people in the picture, if the contrast is good enough, not in that beamer, if you can become my successor, the next EBEC coordinator. Call will be sent in 1 month, so if you want more information about it, feel free to approach to me, especially if I have a couple of beers in my body. If you're thinking about EBEC final for your LBG, feel free to approach to me as well. And yeah, you can stay tuned for more opportunities to come to attend EBEC final in Brno, co-organizer, taster, whatever. Feel free to approach to me or write to EBEC team or join EBEC observers mailing list. That's pretty much all.
1, 2, 3.
Questions?
Okay. Are there any questions for EBEC project and Elias? And I also want to remind you that currently on day 5 we have scheduled a specific session about the EBEC final in Brno, so I will cut most questions related to that. Any other questions? Going once. Going twice. And sold to EBEC project. I guess it was a very clear presentation. I want to say that EBEC for the longest time was this project that mixed all the competition tasks related to BEST. Now that it's a separate project, they can focus on the actual innovation of the service and making the yearly edition as good as possible. And maybe this way, we're already discussing whether we are the largest engineering competition in Europe, and this way we will definitely be. Thank you very much. Okay, now moving to one of the last presentations of the day. We're going to have a presentation by BCC Project presented by Patry from Krakow. Please join us in the middle.
Hello. Oh, it's working. Hi. I'm Patka from Krakow. I am BCC coordinator currently. And before I begin my presentation, I'd like to ask my only BCC member that is present here to the middle, also CRD, also CRD department members, basically people involved in CRD, and IT department, obviously. So come here, guys, chop chop. Okay. So, BCC stands for Best Career Center, and this year we had a BCC project. So, for the beginning, why, in fact, we needed that? So, we want our stakeholders to be satisfied. And to achieve that, we want to improve the services we sell. And when we do that, we're gonna get more money. So basically, BCC project is a strategic project that is this year, and it helps to fulfill the IP2, improve the evaluation and development systems for services. And it started in October and will last until the end of June. So, who made it happen? I have a lovely team of 3 guys. It's Akin from LBG Istanbul, Denis from LBG Podgorica, and Mehmet from LBG Ankara. Mostly me and these guys are involved in the, let's say, operational work of BCC project. And I'm gonna tell you a bit more about that in a moment. These people in the middle are, let's say, huge helpers because we couldn't make it without proper feedback and opinions from other bodies. So, oh my God, the contrast is terrible. But maybe some people don't know what BCC actually is. So, these are our online tools, career-related online tools, like companies or universities' profiles on our best.eu org website. We also send career and study newsletters. If you are subscribed, then you probably received from time to time one of those. We have also a CV database, and we also organize some career webinars. So, what we want to do in BCC project, we want to improve the tools that we already have, and we held the whole lots of evaluations of these tools, and we had a session on IPF, and now I'm gonna show you what we've been doing recently and what are the outcomes. So the first thing is that companies and unis can apply for our offers through our public website. This means that we're gonna create an additional page in the career sector on our public website that will be strictly like for our stakeholders. They can click it, they go there, they can look on our cooperation website, we are gonna present our offers there. They can click something like participate, apply, and this way they can directly contact CRD, and it will, we think, simplify the way we start new cooperations with our partners. Then, another thing that was actually in the air for quite a long time was that we could not upload CVs that we were preparing our own. And now it will be possible. All of you will be able to upload a CV in PDF to your profile. So basically, you can do it on PA, and your profile on public website is also really small here. But yeah, there will be added a button or something like this to enable you to do that. Another thing, like I said, from time to time you should be getting our career or study newsletters. But at this moment, they are not really unified. What we mean, they're not coherent. They're all in different styles. Just take a look. Some of them look like that. Some of them look like that. And we would like to make it more coherent so that it will be more, let's say, user-friendly for our students who actually get them. And within this, we can strengthen the brand of BEST. And yeah, we think it's going to be a good thing. Another thing is about unifying the template of company profile. When I'm talking company profile, I'm in a page like this on our career sector on public website. They all look more or less the same. However, companies provide very different types of information there, and they structure it very differently, and we would like to make it even more user-friendly again, to make it more coherent, more unified, so that the information are structured in a better way. These are some examples. We are still working till the end of June, and we will do some more things, like allow companies or universities to apply for events through career events on public websites. So it's a similar situation to the cooperation page there. We're gonna add some filtering options for statistics and CVs, because currently we are not able to check those in the CV database. We will update the content of CVs that can be done with the CV creator we currently have. We will update the job and study offers information, because they're quite random if you check it. And we're gonna try to start using the career news box on PA. Probably none or very few of you heard about that. Even for me, that was kind of new. So yeah, we're gonna try to make use of that. And you can find more detailed information about BCC project and, let's say, the status of our actions and stuff like this in our annual action report. So yeah, that's it from my side. If you have any questions, you can always approach me in private. I'm here. Or you can ask some questions now. Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Any questions for BCC projects? We have one finger from Stockholm, and then the next microphone to Delft.
Basil, from LBG Stockholm, capital city of Scandinavia. So I was wondering what you plan to do with the CV concerning the industrial stakeholders.
Can you repeat? I'm sorry.
What do you plan to do with the CVs concerning the stakeholders from the industry? What do you want to offer to them?
To be honest, I'm not understanding your question, because we're not offering CVs. No, I don't understand your question.
So I was wondering, what do you plan to do with the CV once we upload them? Like, you want to do statistics just inside the organization, or you want to offer services to the database, to the companies?
Okay, so basically we have the CV database that we are gathering all the CVs from students, besties, and external students that are, for example, going on a course, and we create profile on the public website. You can leave your CV, or whatever you want to do, you can leave your CV. And then we are offering this to our partners, so they can enter, and then can filter and actually contact the people if they want to hire or whatever. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Stockholm. Next question is from Delft, and then next microphone to Gania.
Hello, Vicente from Delft.
First of all, a small statement. I think BCC project is a really good one, and I think it's the direction to go for our career support services. And just a small question. You said that you want to unify the information of the companies in the public website. So who will be doing that? Besties, or we will be asking the companies to provide a very specific question so that they fit a template or something?
Well, the template will be created by BCC project. So we as a team, me and the 3 guys you seen on the slides, we will be preparing the template with the help of CRD and IT department. But the information, I mean the content that will be there, it's obviously coming from companies. Did I understand your, answer your question? Okay.
Okay, the next question is from Hanya, and the other microphone to Coimbra.
This is Hanya. So I think it's more like an opinion on the common template about companies. I was thinking like having a common template about their information could lead like to this. The way you structure your information, the way you promote yourself, could mean like to be more appealing than another like company. So like having a common template for all of them could lead like in removing that extra appeal that they could give. I don't know if that makes sense.
I understand. And yeah, if I can comment, I agree. And we're not saying that there's going to be like one template for each partnership level. We can make slightly different one for corporate partners, then a bit different, let's say, for our supporters. It's just an idea. It's not kind of tackled yet by BCC. It's in the timeline, but it's not done yet, so.
We will have a two-finger from Natasha first.
Just to add something, like the template is not about only having every company to have the same profile, but just some basic stuff that are needed. For example, I don't know if something is appealing to the students that they want to read, so we can put it for every company, not one company to have it, another to not have it. I don't know if you understand. So just some general basic stuff, and then of course every company has a different info, different activities that they will put it in the, let's say, general part of the profile.
Thank you, Hanya. Still a very useful comment. Next question is from Coimbra, and then we have Moscow.
Hello, Fialho from Coimbra. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for VCC. It's a really cool project. But my concern is that the project, as far as I know, is not being so well developed. Advertised. At least, even for me, I get to know it not so long ago, and I think not all of us are advertising it so well in our LBGs. So the thing that I want to say is if there's a defined advertising strategy for the BCC in the future.
You mean that it's not well enough promoted among LBGs?
Yeah, the promotion.
Well, that's true. It's one of our goals, actually. But before we promote the tools, because basically things like CV database or newsletters, you can use as LBGs for free. We just offer that. You just need to approach that. By the way, I wanted to kind of thank LBG Aveiro and LBG Lviv for actively using BCC tools. Yeah, but I just wanted to tell you that we want to promote BCC tools after we improve them, because right now, if something is not working properly, let's say, we figured there's no point of letting LBGs know, hey, you can use that, but it's not working yet, so hold on, you know. Okay, thanks.
Then next question from LBG Moscow.
Hello, Alexander from LBG Moscow. Thank you for your presentation. And my question is, have you ever considered career-related online practices from our partner NGOs, like bonding, for example? And if yes, what can we learn from them in this area? And if no, what do you think about this idea?
Well, okay, for my mandate, so till the end of June, we did not think about this, and I think it should come from well, LBGs as a suggestion, and maybe it should be also talked about with CRD, because I don't feel kind of, qualified to answer this question to you, because I just I'm the technician that provides, proper tools. I don't interfere with the content.
And indeed, Nagia also has 2 fingers, so maybe she wants to add something.
The qualified one.
Mainly during Winter IPF, we had the discussion with Mikey from Bonding about what they're using as common practices in order to, let's say, approach their partners with online tools. And actually, they gave us one very good idea, which is actually sending an email with all our updated offers to our partners directly, like an automated one. And then our partners can directly apply to our events through the public website, which is actually kind of integrated in the election plan of the BCC project at the moment, and hopefully it will be implemented at some point. But yes, we have investigated some common and good practices from other NGOs.
Thank you, Moscow, for your question. As it is getting a bit late, there are still questions from Kiev and Thessaloniki. Are you okay with having these questions or comments in private? Thessaloniki and Kiev. Okay, and we do still have a finger from Dino, apparently. Okay.
Hello, good morning. As she mentioned, they're still working on BCC, and at some point also, those things that they figure out that should be done have to be coded. So if you like to code, or if you like to develop best career services, feel free to join in and code.
Okay, thank you, Dino. So innovation in our career services at this moment is absolutely critical for BEST, not only because it's underpins our financial well-being, but also because this is one of our main services, even though we like to forget that. We are students, all the people in our LBGs and universities are students, and helping them find their dream job, that's a beautiful purpose for BEST. That's what BCC helps us do, and these are the people that make it happen. Thank you. We are now going to move to the last session for today. And I can see some people are starting to look a bit sleepy, but no worries, because we have something a bit funkier on the schedule for you. Because the last session is being in the board. So I would like to invite the dragonflies to the middle.
Okay, I promise there's only 3 slides in these presentations, so on that you're cool. All right, so being in the board is something that maybe some of you have thought about once, maybe you've never thought of it, and that's fine. I remember my first GA when I came to the plenary, I was like, there is no way I would ever do that. Turns out things change. So whether you're interested or not, I think it's quite, let's say, fruitful moment for you to see how it is to be in the board, see what it consists of. Now we're gonna have a small videos, which is like more like fun moments and like some pictures from how our year have been. And after that you will have some question and answers. And yeah, you will be able to see a bit how it is to be aboard with the dragonflies. All right, so you can see that being in the board is mostly eating and traveling, apparently. Okay, so we're showing you this because, of course, we had a lot of fun and we really enjoyed our time together. However, it's also our time to leave the next board, take over, and maybe some of you are thinking about it right now, maybe you're not, maybe you would like to know more about how it is to be in the board, because even though it looks like we're just traveling and having fun, we're also doing quite a lot of stuff. I guess you have the report to check it out. But in any case, just if you have some question, whether it's on the fun part or on the work part, on how it is to be a boardie, on why are we boardies, on what does it change in our everyday life, you're free to do so. And we'll have a short round of Q&As, and you're invited just to raise your voice.
All right. Let's start with the Q&A then. First question from LBG Team Shoara, and after that from Athens.
Wally from Timisoara. I wanted to ask you, what do you think the biggest difference is between being in the local board and in the international board?
Okay, 2 years ago I was HR in my board, but it might sound silly, but it was a lot more harder for me because there were a lot more difficult situations that I faced compared to this year. In general, you are missing your home a lot because you are traveling, and you are missing your comfort zone. But besides that, it's similar. However, you are dealing with bigger projects, and you are taking care of them with delegating them to different people. So the chain is increasing. So you need to follow up more constantly. So I think this is the biggest difference. But they are super different in my opinion. Maybe anyone else wants to comment?
Okay, Florian from the board. I would say that one part of it is the complexity in a way. As in the international board, the things and all the services that we need to take care of are a lot more complex. There are a lot more different stakeholders that we need to take into consideration when we take our decisions. And you also face a lot more, let's say it's challenges than I actually experienced in my local board. Being in the local board for me was also super tough. It requires a lot of time, and the experience in the international board has been different with different challenges. So they both have their difficulties, but both of them are pretty cool, I think. And yeah.
Okay. Next question from LBG Athens, and then the microphone to the Caravel, please.
Likia, LBG Athens. Would you maybe like to share your absolute favorite moment from this mandate and also the most challenging moment you all faced together?
LBG Athens, did you?
Okay, I will share my favorite moment. It was during winter IPF. It is a bit, let's say, combined situation because I submitted my thesis while being in the board, and my board was there, and we actually celebrated all together. And for me, it was a great moment. And also, I felt the whole brotherhood that our board had at that moment. And for sure, it was a quite inspirational, motivational moment for me, and it showed how much stand each other for the fellow boardie. So,
you also asked the biggest challenge, right? Okay, the biggest challenge I think for all of us and for me specifically was the situation with Summer IPF in Ankara. Board summary meeting was our first working event together, and due to unfortunate circumstances, we were called to make a very tough decision. And it's safe to say that it was very challenging for all of us, but we are very happy that we pulled it through in the end.
Okay, thank you, LBG Athens. Then next question will be from the Caravel, and then the microphone to LBG Niche.
Hello, Dragonflies. It's Clemente from the Caravel. I'm very happy to see your video and your being in the board at the end of the year. Like, good nostalgia, but I'm very proud of you. So first of all, I thought about asking you how it felt to come after the greatest board ever, but then I changed my mind, different question. Because you all had different functions, different jobs in BEST before you came to the board. So I would like to know your perspective on how big of an impact you can actually have in BEST by being in the board when compared to the things that you did before, and how important do you think that should be for people thinking about running for the board? If you don't know what to say, you can go back to the first question.
All right. I think that you can't really realize how big is the impact, even like making a speech in the plenary, or until you're actually into the mandate and you see really sometimes how slow the organization is, but also sometimes how fast it reacts. And I mean, yeah, it's quite important, but you can't really realize it at the beginning, or you can imagine it, but at some point, I guess we'll also realize a bit more at the end of the mandate when it's over, and we'll see everything that happened. But definitely, what you think will be your mandate, or what you think will be happening during the board, it will probably be time 10s, like type 10, what will actually happen. Like, I couldn't imagine a tenth of what would happen during the year, and sometimes it was tough, but for most of it, it was a very amazing experience.
And Milica from the board. And to add on that, I would say that actually I realized during this year that I could have done much more and I could have maybe the same impact as a regular bestie, because there are so many opportunities and so many times where we ask opinions, and there are so many cool places where you can state your opinion and change best, so please use it.
Thank you, Caravel. Next question from LBG Niche, and then LBG Bratislava.
So, Strachina from LBG Niche. So yeah, very nice video, and we could see that you had a lot of great food and fun, and we guess that you're all great friends after this, but who's your favorite dragonfly?
My favorite dragonfly is Denise.
My favorite dragonfly is Flo.
My favorite dragonfly is Evie.
I see a pattern.
My favorite dragonfly is Naya.
My favorite dragonfly is Adrien Merlier.
My favorite fly is Maria Zurita.
Don't call me Maria. My favorite dragonfly is obviously Milica from LBG Niche.
I hope it answers your question.
In a very patterned way, I think. Okay, LBG Niche. Now it's LBG Bratislava, and next question will be LBG Brussels, right next to it.
Okay, hi, Branislav from Bratislava. Okay, I don't know, like maybe it's individual question for each of you, but like only one can answer. Like when it comes to time consuming and economical situation, like how hard or how easy is to be a boardie, like traveling around Europe and being away from home, and like I know that some of the travel expenses are covered, but like you have to have like some budget that you have to spend while traveling. So it's quite a broad question, like anyone like can say whatever.
Okay, LBG Brussels. Unless Dragonflies want to reply again.
Okay, we were like trying to decide who should go. Okay, I can say that I am super broke because I actually kind of like graduated. So before that I was having a scholarship and I was like collecting money to like travel invest, but then I graduated and it cut. And you know, like your family is like trying to support you, but sometimes it's not that helpful. So like all the travel reimbursements that you got 100%, and like thanks to the help of Naya, like we covered them like kind of beforehand most of the time. Besides that, I always try to have like, reduce my expenses using it like some different ways of living in abroad. You can have hosts and like you can also visit the cities. It's kind of hard if you like don't have a like huge support, but it's also possible. Like if the concern is financial, I think it would be solved.
We have a two-finger from LBG Timișoara. Can you give the microphone, please?
Vale from Timișoara. I wanted to ask who out of the board traveled the most and who traveled the least and how many days each.
Okay, this is not a two-finger, so we will come back to this question in a second. But first, LBG Brussels.
Yeah.
Okay, he cut. So now we can ask the question of LBG Timișoara. As it was already asked.
Okay. Is it still a question from Timișoara?
Yes.
Okay. For sure, I'm the one that's traveling the most. I was maybe 6 weeks at home this year, but that's also a choice that I made. I probably spend more time in Poland with all the events than in France, for sure. But on the other hand, it's not... Okay, being home is also a very good feeling, and sometimes I kind of missed it. But also when you're traveling, you're also meeting really great people. I had hosts in a lot of cities from West, and there was a lot of energy like given by them, and it was really inspirational. So I missed home, but I also really enjoy my time abroad. It doesn't mean that you would miss it that much. And for the list, we don't know. We need to make some calculation. We'll come back to you very soon.
I think I might be the least because I missed BAM because of my visa issues. So yeah, but besides, I don't know.
Okay, I think LBG Izmir still had a question. And then it's Istanbul Yildiz.
I am Turgut from LBG Izmir. First of all, I would like to thank you for this kind of video. It's really good. I would like to ask a question about your social life and your university life. How did this being boardy impact your social life and university life? Was it good or was it bad? Because this is like a regular job. This is more than a regular job. In the regular job, you are going in the morning to the job and you are going home at the evening. But in this position, you are working in the evening, you are working in the morning, you are going away from your mom, you are not seeing your friends. So what was the effect of this?
Yeah, I think the question is clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question and this very elaborative explanation. However, I do believe that everything is all about time management and how you're going to organize your time through the day. For example, you can allocate some times of the day dealing with your university stuff, your studies or whatever, and the rest part of the day deal with all the let's say best things. For example, cleaning emails, replying to everything, let's say, form your personal, individual job of the board, let's say, accordingly. However, it is possible, maybe the only thing with the university that cannot be very much, let's say, compensated somehow is when you have obligatory labs or something like this, where you need to be present at the university and your travels, let's say, don't allow you to do it. I would like to say that I'm a clear example of graduating during my mandate, so I believe that everything is possible. It's all about dealing with your own time and your whole routine and life routine during the day. It just needs structure and persistence and patience. That's it.
Thank you, Izmir. Then we have a question from Istanbul Yildiz. And after that, oh, he has cut. So then we have a question from LBG Podgorica.
Hi. Okay. Hello. So, everything has its ups and downs, and Izmir kind of screwed me a bit with their question. Damn you. But I have this thing to ask. If you can do it again, be a boardie again, would you? And why not? All of you.
I mean, yes, I would do it again, so I cannot answer to the second part of your question. I only see one answer in your question.
Are you running again, Evie?
I will think about it.
Okay, that answers the question. Next question is from design department, and then Coimbra.
Hi, Xenia from Design Department, and my question is, was it more difficult to work on new created positions with new structure and so on?
As a person with a new created position in the new structure, okay, surely it was challenging. It's a bit hard not to know what to expect, and everyone expects you to create something that you don't know what it is. So we had a couple of months with the whole structure being a bit confused, especially cooperation among each other. However, after a lot of conversations and a lot of beers with conversations, we figured it out. So now personally I feel even more proud that we managed to pull it off and to create something from nowhere. So surely it was challenging, but we made it work.
Okay, thank you, design department. Next question from Coimbra, and then Bratislava.
Hello, Fialho from Coimbra. So, okay, your time is coming to the end, but after that, the love remains and you'll still be interested in the projects. However, I want to ask you about the motivation. There's still some motivation to give to best, or after you finish your mandate, you just want to go home and crawl back to your bed and sleep for 40 hours and stay 2 months with your family and forget about best?
Okay, thank you for your question. I will say from my personal side, I'm actually looking forward that it will end, because this means that I will have more time to deliver as a trainer, because I really like being a trainer, and I expect to deliver on some train shops in future, so if you apply.
Anyone else?
I also started my journey in IT department like a year ago or so, but this year, because of being a boardie, I couldn't take a lot of tasks there. So I would like to be there for some years and be the one that works behind the scene and keep PA working. And without macumberos, I hope.
Okay, thank you, Coimbra. Now we will have Bratislava, and after that, Extra Carolina.
Hi, Branislav from Bratislava. Okay, so my question is how important is for each board position to know what other board positions have to do, in means of knowledge and experience, and for example, which board positions actually need cooperation more with others, and which are more only for their own, if you know what I mean.
Apparently, I have to answer. I'd say that my position probably needs not the most cooperation, but quite a lot. Basically, because the president is helping a lot with all the educational involvement matters. So in that sense, I need to be talking with him quite a lot. Same applies for treasurer when it comes to career-related stuff. And in general, with VPHR and VPP, because as you could see from my board art presentation, almost everything was you can check the presentation of this project later on in this GA. So most of the work that is done around services happens through projects. So my position, I'd say, have quite a lot of relations with other board positions.
This, however, it doesn't mean that you need in advance to have this knowledge or this experience. I don't think any of us had super much experience or knowledge in other positions. You just learn whatever you need to learn through the year.
Thank you, Bratislava. Next question from Extra Carolina, and then the training department.
Hi, Extra Carolina. If you could choose one advice to give to someone who is thinking about applying, what would it be?
I will say just a statement for me because it worked. Stress everything to your limits in order to create something new.
It's kind of bullshit, but might be true. Get the lightest laptop possible.
Okay, I just want to add one more thing here. Think about your motivation to run. In the end, you should not run just because of the sake of yourself, but because you have some desire to make the organization better in some way. And if this desire is strong enough, then if you run and you get elected, you will have like the motivation, all the motivation you need for the entire mandate.
Thank you, Carolina. Next question is training department. We still have about 5 or 6 questions on the list, so I would recommend to the boardies maybe one person gives an answer per question, so we can do still as many questions as possible. So training department, and then Bruno.
Okay, Arno from training department. As a board, you're on the tip of the leadership of our organization, which includes a lot of challenges and lots of responsibilities. How did this change you as a person, influence as a person, impact, and what did you get out of it personally?
So, in general, I don't know what to say exactly, but I think that what you need to learn and how you make decisions is, in the end, like all of us are bringing something to the table, and in the end, we are going with the same thing, like further, and this is the path that we all need to follow and support in order to make the whole organization work. Does it answer the question?
I was more hoping also on a personal level, like what did you get out of this experience? How did it shape you?
At the bullshit one, I actually learned a lot about services, and the true one, I actually think that I moved myself more towards questioning stuff like proactively and not taking anything for granted.
Thank you, training department. Next question will be from Bruno. And then next question to EBEC 2017.
Hello, Samuel from LBG Brno. Hello, boardies. I would like to ask a question regarding international involvement. How much do you think a boardie should be or has to be internationally involved before he runs? And how much you can catch up with it later on in your mandate or during KT?
I'm not going to let you force Flo to answer. I think when it comes to knowledge itself, you can cover quite a lot after you're elected. There's board training, there's personal KT. All of us, we knew like half of what we knew in GA and in July, like it's a huge change. However, if there's one thing that I think it's quite positive from having international involvement or being aware of it, is mostly about the communication methods that are used in BEST. So if you know how the teams are working or more or less how the communication flow goes, I think the job is way easier because the hard knowledge is easier to get than how everybody is communicating in so many different layers.
Thank you, Bruno. Now we have a question from EBEC project and then Extra Mateusz.
Hello, Dragonflies. I have a question for you, personal one, kind of. What kind of ex-boardie are you planning to be? More like Paco or more like Chilway, Mariana, Chilin? Like, what kind of ex-boardie? Maybe Broken President can tell us better because it's more personal. Thank you.
We dropped the mic, literally. Okay, I guess I'll answer. I think I will still be around because, okay, I'm kind of young, so I can still volunteer a bit. But yeah, basically, you learn a lot of things during your mandate, and even though in the end you might not be the one that will be the leader of the organization, you can still bring this knowledge on the table, and Also, you will be able to, let's say, give this knowledge to the new people, and I think it's quite important that we stay around, even if it's not to take tasks, but at least to let's say, yeah, share the knowledge around us.
Thank you, Elias. Now extra Mateusz, and then LBG Delft.
Okay, so Mateusz, extra delegate. Being in board means basically like sacrificing one of your year just for best. I mean sacrificing, but in a good way. There are a lot of other tasks that you can, like challenges, tasks that you can take in your best life. You all had like biggest experience before, of course. So can you tell me after this 1 year, what makes such a difference in terms of personal development among the other functions that you can take in best, like being department coordinator or many others?
Okay, I would just like to make a clarification. Being in the board is not really a sacrifice. For sure, we spend a year here, and I mean here, in the board, and it took a lot of our time, but for sure I wouldn't call it a sacrifice. I think that what we did brought a lot to ourselves, first of all, like we learned a lot about ourselves, about others, and also we hope that we left a bit something to the organization. Now, when it comes to tasks and position you can take, there is no right or wrong. I don't think that being in the board is better than being a department coordinator or being a project coordinator or being something that you like. It mostly comes from your motivation and what you want to do in the organization, where do you want to contribute, what can you bring, and you will make an obvious choice once you look at it.
I think that is a very nice note to end on. We still had some questions from Bratislava, Cluj, and Copenhagen, but we'd like to ask the LBGs if they are okay with proceeding and slowly ending the session, or if they would like to have more questions. So thumbs up if you want. Let's say thumbs up if you want more questions, thumbs down if you would like to end. Do it now. Okay, I see that indeed a lot of the questions have already been answered. As you can see, being in the board, it is a 1-year commitment to give back to an organization that you grew up in and that you love. And whereas, of course, there are many reasons why you would have excuses not to do it, like time or money, etc. Almost everybody who goes for the experience will say that it is one of the best years of their life and that they would have done it again in a heartbeat. I know that me and Oscar feel the same way about it. So it can be the best year of your life, and the proof of that is sitting in the middle of the mattress. So thank you, Dragonflies. All right. Now, that was all the content that we had for today. Oscar, do you have any announcements?